So I watched a video by Stoutmeister here on YouTube, and it was this Ask Wendy video he did yesterday, and there were a lot of points in there that inspired me to make this video. I kind of want to add it as like sort of an addendum, to what he was talking about in that particular topic. So without further ado, here we go. One thing that I observed happened a lot in Vegas to a lot of guys, and is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. They think it's a sensitive issue. Mainly those people are the guys that are on the receiving end of this. And I'm not going to give men a free pass in this because a lot of those guys sort of did what they could inadvertently to end up in that circumstance. But it goes like this. There are women in this fucking world who are willing to get knocked up just so they can get what they want out of people. They will literally create and birth a human life, not giving a flying fuck about that human life itself, but what it represents and what it can get them. And that is bullshit. Not a lot of people like talking about this, but I'll tell you right now, it goes on a lot more often than anybody would like to admit, and I've fucking seen it. I've seen it happen to 3 fucking people I knew back in Vegas. One of them was one of my best friends from high school. What happened to him? Well, it went like this. He was in 11th grade, I was in 10th grade. He was just a little bit older than me. His girlfriend was also in 11th grade. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have a car. They both lived with their parents. And they were dating for a bit. Obviously fucking no bullshit here. People in high school fuck. And, well, she became pregnant. Now, he brought up the logical point of, well, we don't have jobs. We don't have a car. We live with our parents. We're in no position to be bringing a kid into this world. We don't have anything to give them. Well, he would have said that if he was given the option to. No, it's like he had to be this child's father. He had to be put in that circumstance because that kid had to exist. Abortions aren't fun. Everybody fucking knows that. Okay? There's not going to be an Olympian sport for abortions because if that were the case, then fucking Lindsay Lohan would be America's champion. However, either that or Hannah Montana at this point. Jesus Christ, did she go down the toilet? The point here is there are women that just like, they look at what a baby will represent to them socially. Oh, I get a bunch of new friends. I get a bunch of new stuff from my parents and these friends. Well, having a baby, it kicks ass for me. But what does the guy get? Oh, he's got to take another job. Now he's got to start thinking about a place where they're going to live. Now he's got to start working his fucking ass off at a point in his life he really wouldn't have needed to, and he would have been able to build himself up into a stronger person with a lot more resources later on in life where it would have been a little bit easier to bring a kid into that environment. That's fucking wrong. Okay, so it's all right for women that are like this to use a guy simply for what that guy represents and go to the point of using the fucking baby for what it socially represents, and then men don't have a right to say shit about it. Well, I think it's about time these pussy whip motherfuckers say something about it, because I guarantee you a lot of these types of people wouldn't end up in these situations if they just say, no, this is bullshit, and I'm putting my fucking foot down, and I'm not going to be a fucking doormat and walked all over. I'm sick and tired of watching people come into existence in this world simply because they're a bargaining chip. That's fucked up. And you can even see it happening every fucking day in this goddamn world, It's so fucking bullshit. Nobody says anything about it. And they don't even think about the circumstances that they bring the kid into. Okay? So now they got to take a lower income living situation. They got to live in a poorer neighborhood with a higher crime rate where the kid goes to a rougher school, and then the kid grows up all fucked up because of that. They don't get a whole lot of fucking stuff at home for themselves. They don't get very many toys. They don't get a lot of clean clothes. They don't even get decent fucking food. Why? Because all your fucking money just went down the toilet because you decided to make a decision that was irresponsible, and the consequence for that is you don't have the resources available to you to properly take care of that kid. Now, the other side of this coin that pisses me off even the fuck more is when rich bitches do this shit. And they usually end up in the position of the guy being at least intelligent enough to know to get the fuck out of Dodge before he really gets completely ruined in life, and they go seek out somebody who wasn't in a relationship or just gotten out of a bad one. They fuck with his head a little bit, and then they snare him in to take care of a kid that isn't theirs. That's even more fucked up for the kid, because not only do they have to more than likely go through the same shit unless the girl's family is doing the fucking thing that a lot of these stupid fucking families do and giving them everything, the kid grows up in a poor circumstance, in a bad circumstance with a guy they can't even attach to as a father figure because later on they learn he's not the real dad. And it's like, don't you fucking people care about this at all? But the answer, unfortunately, for a lot of them is no. Because they care about their new shoes. They care about all the new things that people are buying for them. They care about the fact that baby got them all the shit they didn't have before. And the fucking more fucked up part about this that I've seen is that they'll go on different social media and all of a sudden they're Mother of the Year. Which I just think is special. I'm going to do so many things for my baby on your dime. And they're going to get everything they ever needed on your dime. Because, you know, I'm going to be the greatest mother while you take care of my fucking kid babysitting them and I go out partying. Fuck you. Fuck women like this. Fuck every single fucking one of you lazy, stupid pieces of shit who bring fucking humans into this world and don't give a flying fuck that they are a person, a sensitive entity with emotions and fucking feelings. At all. You don't care about them as a human being. You care about them as an item. And then you think that there are people in this world, you know, that aren't smart enough to see that for what it is. The other two people that I mentioned watching this happen to, they're idiots. You know, they thought it was all just fun and games because they were getting fucking shit from people too. And where did these couples with the child end up? Both of these other people ended up in a fucking trailer park. I think one of them's now in jail on a drug conviction. So that's fucking special. Children are not a fucking bargaining chip. And I think a lot of people need to speak up on this particular issue because I'm sick and fucking tired of watching it happen. I've seen so many fucking times where this just goes on, and then what does the kid turn out to be? A fucking drug addict. You know, they get in a gang because they try to find somewhere to feel like they belong because they don't belong at home. The parents don't give a shit. Maybe one of them did, usually the father. But what has the father turned into? An alcoholic because he's got to put up with his fucking cunt of a wife who doesn't give a shit about him or his kids. And then he just becomes an embittered asshole because he spent like the last 10 or 11 years or maybe even 15 years of his life trying to give a shit about a kid that isn't loved. It's just depressing. And the fact that in a lot of cities, at least inner cities, because I was from the inner city of Las Vegas, I mean, that's like the common story of how families go. And it's just like, what in the shit? I mean, are you going to say anything about this? Are you going to do anything? Are you going to fucking stop fucking and stop having kids when you don't need to fucking have them? Or are you just like, I want what I want, and I don't give a shit about how I get it because I'm going to get what I want from other people? I mean, in the second circumstance, I actually knew a few of these motherfuckers that were on the girl's side, and they were giving her everything, and the amount of shit talk that happened behind this poor dude's back was just immense. I mean, they fucking turned on the poor motherfucker like piranhas, and I didn't understand why. You're like, yeah, he's a real bad father figure, but, you know, at least she has a dad, you know, and if they break up, at least he gets to pay child support. And I'm like, do you not understand how fucking sick that sounds? And they're like, they gave me a confused look. They're like, why would you say that's sick? And I'm like, because then you just said it was totally okay for somebody to use another human being. It's like you just brought a person into existence, but you don't give a flying fuck that they exist. And they're like, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. And I'm like, well, then you're conscious of the fact that concept is possible. Is that what you're doing? And then I got bitched out. For no good fucking reason. Well, then you just like support a deadbeat father and shit. And I told them the logical point that there are a lot of people in this world who won't take care of their kids simply because how can they love a child that was birthed from somebody that they fucking hate? How can they love somebody that shouldn't have existed? But nobody wants to think about it like that because there's a sensitive stigma attached to this whole thing. Now, I will say, you know, that a lot of these people that get labeled deadbeat dads, they are fucking dipshits. And they don't want to take care of their fucking kids because they just don't want to put forth the effort. But there is a percentage, and I don't know how big of a percentage it is. Maybe like, I would say maybe on a conservative one, maybe like 10 or 15% that just don't because it's such a fucking hassle to deal with a woman like that. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, I'll pay child support. You know, they'll go, I'll pay the child support. But why, at the end of the day? Because it's like none of the money ends up going to the fucking kid. Because all these fucking whores do is spend it on themselves. And the kid doesn't see anything. You know, I've heard of even fucking... I've heard of worse than that. I don't want to bring it up in this video. I'll bring it up maybe in a later video. I'm not going to go into that. You know, fuck it, why not? You know, I've heard of the circumstances where guys just don't even want to be around the children at all because they know what kind of care is being given to them, and they just don't even want to be associated with it. The cases where, like, a woman gets custody of the children, and in court, because family courts, frankly, just always side with women because family courts biased like that, and everyone in the country fucking knows that. Anyone who's had to go to it fucking knows that. But regardless, the women get custody of the child, and these women are so inexperienced with raising a kid, they fucking end up being responsible for the kid dying, or they just go psychotic and kill the children or beat the shit out of them. And the guy's just like, I don't even want to be attached to that. You know, it's a weird situation, and it's hard to sympathize because it's like, well, shit, you just let your fucking kids die, asshole. Now, I can understand why you wouldn't want to be around somebody like that, but you did let your fucking kids die. Bringing this whole thing back to what I started talking about, I just don't understand how more people do not stand up and say this is bullshit, because a lot of people, they go through it. A lot of young fucking people. You know, I understand more about the subject of abortion now than I did when I was younger. I understand why now that it's a big issue. And it's something that you can't really explain. It's just something that you kind of go through with time. Unlike most people that I knew back in Vegas, and I'm going to get into that in a moment too, about those types of people, you know, I was tenured pretty quickly to how divergent and shitty life can be, simply because I got the worst end of so many situations. You know, a lot of people will go and say that bad relationships tenured them to life. Trust me, there is a lot more than shitty relationships. Everything I just fucking mentioned, I had to watch other people go through. So, and almost ended up being in situations like that multiple times. It was like being on some sort of conveyor belt in a meatpacking plant, and you were strapped to like a table or something, and you had to watch somebody go through it before you, you know. So which is a really fucking crazy, gross comparison, but that's what it felt like. I had to watch somebody else get vivisected before I was thrown into the same circumstance, and a lot of people, they get thrown into these circumstances not even knowing. Like I said, there's a huge percentage of guys who are not even in relationships that get snared into these because women like this will fuck with their heads and make them sympathetic to what's going on with them. And in some cases, you know, it's because they really need the help. In other cases, it's because they don't give a fuck. And I don't see how people cannot get that. You know, even more so, it's fucking great, in my opinion, when assholes like this try to tell people how to raise their kids. I had motherfuckers like this trying to tell me how the fuck to raise my kid, and I'm just sitting here thinking, what the shit? You can't even fucking take care of your own fucking kids, and I'm supposed to sit here and listen to advice from your stupid asses? Fuck you. You know, these are people who were willing to invite like some kind of sex partner to live in their house, and they do all their weird fucking kinky shit while they watch mom and dad be romantic with each other, and they watch them be romantic with this other person I don't know if they really know or not. And if they do know them, that's actually fucking worse. Because these are just fucking kids. I mean, what do you assholes really expect me to do? Take you seriously when you can't even understand that at a certain point that your kids are going to grow up all fucked up because they've tried to adjust to living in that circumstance because you told them all their lives, you know, that, well, it may not be for you if you even have the balls to talk to them. By nature, you know, most people try to be monogamous, you know, and a lot of kids, they grow up around, you know, certain influences, like stuff they see on television or reading books or whatever the fuck kids are getting exposure now. Unfortunately, now most kids are exposed to the internet, so they're ruined before they're even 10, usually. Look at Jessie Slaughter, for example. Ooh-wee. Though that's not a very valid comparison because her father was a meth addict, and I'm glad he's fucking dead, and I'm glad she's in a mental hospital, and I still don't know how they just don't randomly, for no real reason, hold Blood at the Dance Floor responsible for the entire event. Because they should, because Davey Vanity's a fucking pedophile and needs to get fucked in the ass in prison, so at least he knows what it feels like, the worthless piece of shit. But anyway, bringing back on topic, you know, it's like these people didn't have any comprehension that their kids are going to grow up imbalanced, they're going to grow up fucked up, they're going to grow up just not knowing how to have a normal relationship because within their own household they were observing stuff they didn't even understand, and they're fucking having the balls to tell me about how to raise my fucking kid. Fuck you. I don't take advice from some shitwad like that. Fucking husband and wife who don't know how the hell fucking childcare works. And there were other motherfuckers that were throwing it my way too. Which is why I'm glad I moved out of Vegas, because I'm not surrounded by people that are fucking idiots like that. That encourage people to get themselves into positions in life where they're basically just fucking up their life without care. I mean, I couldn't even understand that. One motherfucker literally would encourage somebody to go do something so fucking stupidly irresponsible that I can't even put it into words, and just said, well, they really shouldn't feel like there were any consequences involved because, I mean, you know, if they were going to do it, they were going to do it. I just told them not to get all wrapped up in it. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? I'm not going to describe it because that's personal to these people involved. I'm not going to go into it here, but... And that's probably just for another video anyway, later on. Anyway... You know, I thought to myself, what the fuck? So you're totally okay with saying that this person is like your best friend, but you don't give a shit that they don't give a shit about consequence, and you don't give a flying fuck what happens to them as a human being? Are you insane? It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, goddamn. Like I said, I'm glad I'm not surrounded by motherfuckers like that, but these are issues that really fucking happen. They do. And they happen a lot more often than a lot of people are willing to admit. And I don't get what the hell the fucking stigma about being quiet about it is. Okay? If you're getting fucked over by somebody, don't just sit there and let them fuck you over. Do something about it. I don't get why it's so hard for a lot of these men to do something about it. Now, I was looking through the comments the other day on my videos, and somebody actually compared me to that Sotomayor dude, which I think is kind of cool. I actually like a lot of Tommy Sotomayor's videos. But he faces criticism because he talks about these sort of things going on in the black community, and I will say, they're not exclusive to the black community. Trust me. This kind of shit happens in the white community. It happens in the Hispanic community. It's just that a lot of people don't fucking want to notice it happening in those communities because white people will sit on our big fucking high horse and go, well, white people are the perfect people and we don't do anything wrong, even though most serial killers are white. You know? Most fucking divorces happen among white people. Most shitty divorces that end in something extremely fucked up, more so than just somebody doing a drive-by, are happened by fucking white people. We don't want to just, you know, go out there and admit that we're one of the more fucked up people on this face of the earth. I don't give a shit. I don't exclude myself from that category. I've been a scumbag when I was younger, and most white people are scumbags. Most white lawyers are the most scummiest fucking assholes on the planet. Most of your rights fundamentally in this country have been taken away from you by shitty white lawyers, so we're not exempt from fucking shit as far as I'm concerned. But even this shit goes on in the Hispanic communities, it goes on in the, not so much I guess in the Asian communities. I'm sure that it happens to a percentage, but not as much as it does in others. In the Hispanic community, this shit just happens a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, you know, there are women that will go to the extent of doing all this shit and then have the balls to ask their parents for help. And oddly enough, it's just like the kids, they don't have any resources to do shit. And a lot of the parents are, for whatever reason, an upper-class rich family, even though they can't fucking show a shred of proof how they legitimately owned their money in certain circumstances. Like I mentioned, I've seen this happen to 3 different fucking people. That's what happened to the second one who ended up in the fucking trailer park, you know, and getting arrested. You know, the girl that he had his kid with. I mean, it was just weird. It's like, okay, so you motherfuckers don't have any money. Your fucking parents have, like, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank account at any given fucking time. And, you know, they'll buy you, like, thousands of dollars in baby clothes and all this other shit, and you just waste it down the drain. And that's, like, irresponsibility just defined right there. I don't understand people. I don't think I ever will understand people, you know, like why humans do the stupid shit that they do. And I don't know if I really want to, because I think it would embitter me more to life than I already am. But this shit does happen. And it happens a lot in every fucking community. And I think just people need to be fucking made aware of it. Because if it's, you know, allowed to continue, if nobody's really going to say something about this or even petition to do something about it, and I don't even know how you would at this point because it's just way too far gone almost, then you're just going to get a generation eventually of people that no one gave a shit about. They only gave a shit about what they could get from having these people, which is fucked up. I mean, just on its face, that's the most fucked up thing ever. So, it's not just a matter of wanting another fucking baby. It's a matter of people not giving a shit that that baby is a sentient, emotional, sensitive being that feels pain, they feel hurt, they fucking feel, and you fuck over everything they feel as a human being in life when you only fucking have them just because you want something cool out of it. So like I said, in closing, fuck everyone who does this kind of shit. People in this world are starting to at least get a little smarter and seeing through that crap. And every single person who's ever done this shit is an absolute disgusting fucking shittard for doing it. I'm not so fucking stupid. I don't see what you people are goddamn doing. I do see what you're goddamn doing. And if you want to try to convince people, then, you know, you're like parent of the year. Don't try convincing motherfuckers like me. Because I'm not an idiot. At all. You motherfuckers are. But I'm not. I'm not a fucking blind moron to this shit. Anyway. I'm going to try to do a few more videos today for your viewing pleasure. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm some guy on the internet. So are you. Until next time.